All right, let's take a look using our Anatomage table at some sections to the digestive system. Digestive system involves many organs, more than any other in the body. Starts up in your oral cavity. It's a lot happening there. You got 32 teeth. The ones up front, like the incisors and the canines, are involved with biting and tearing. Those to the back, the premolars and molars, are involved with grinding and chewing up the food. You got 3 pairs of salivary glands. They're going to add what's mostly water, make that food material what we're going to call a bolus after it's chewed up and had saliva added to it. It's going to make it smoother, softer, more liquid. That way it doesn't damage any other parts of your digestive tract as it passes by it. Once you've chewed up this food and made a bolus, you're going to take your tongue, push it up on your hard palate to roof your mouth, and from there, back into your pharynx. Remember, pharynx is your throat. And after you've chewed up this food and pushed it back out of the oral cavity with your tongue, you want it to pass through the oropharynx, which is the part of your throat right behind your oral cavity. Then from there, you're going to want to take it down the laryngopharynx, which is the lower inferior part close to your larynx. Get to the bottom of that pharynx, it's going to meet the esophagus. The esophagus is a hollow muscular tube that pushes food and material from the pharynx down to your stomach. So it'll be one contraction after another, moving it all the way down to the stomach itself. Stomach is just a big widened part of the GI tract. This is a big mixing chamber. There's actually not a lot of digestion or absorption that happens here. But you're going to take that food material, change it into what's going to be called chyme or chyme, however you want to say it. So the food is going to be made as liquid as possible in the stomach. You're going to add a whole lot of water, some enzymes, some acids. You're going to slosh it around. After the stomach is satisfied that that food is as small and fluid as it's going to get, you're going to move it into the small intestine. Small intestine has 3 sections: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. So the first part of the small intestine, and remember what's small about the small intestine is the diameter, right? It's much longer than what the large is, but it's smaller in diameter. So you first move from the stomach into that duodenum. Inside that duodenum, you've got little passageways leading from the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas all back into the small intestine. So we go back right here to our duodenum. You've got a lot of material coming into this first part of the small intestine. Everything from the stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas. And the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas are going to move material into this duodenum to chemically break down whatever it is you've had to eat, if that's needed. So you move past the duodenum, you go through the jejunum and ileum. Again, small intestine's about 17 or so feet long. There's variation depending on the size of the adult. And you're going to absorb around 92% of everything that you eat or drink in the small intestine. Once you've done that, you're going to move the food material into the large intestine. It's large in diameter, but much shorter than the small. It's large is about 4.5 or so feet long. So the first part of your large intestine, we're going to change the food that we had originally called food, went to bolus, then went to chyme, and now it's become feces in the large intestine. So the first part of the large intestine is called the cecum, way down here in the lower right quadrant. The appendix hangs off of it. It's always a matter of debate whether the appendix is vestigial, meaning left over from embryonic development, or whether it is still a good reservoir for helpful bacteria. And we have a lot of good, useful, helpful bacteria that we give a home to in our large intestine. But again, cecum and appendix way down in the lower right quadrant. Then you're going to move the feces material up through the ascending colon. It's going to come up, hit the bottom of the liver, where it's going to bend and turn. That's called the right hepatic flexure. It goes across you. Trans means across, so we go through the transverse colon. Comes over and back to the spleen, where it turns down. That's the left splenic flexure. And now you're moving down through the descending colon. From there, you move into the sigmoid colon, which has a bit of an S shape, to the rectum, to the anal canal, and then right on out the body. So a lot of organs and structures involved with the digestive system. Some of the better, larger pictures are shown here.